Good morning, everyone. It's Anifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, my thoughts are all about getting back into the Know Thyself series. And this morning's contemplation brought forth my attention to a writer that I really love. He's a poet and author, and it might be a name that you're familiar with. It's Khalil Gibran. And today I thought for this part of the Know Thyself series, I would talk a little bit about some of the things that he's written and help us to reflect on it together. And so this first quotation I'd like to share with you, it says, "I have learned silence from the talkative, toleration from the intolerant, and kindness from the unkind. Yet strange, I am ungrateful to those teachers." And I don't know if you can make sense of this or if it makes sense to you. And if we look at it, when someone is really talkative around us, don't we just feel like, oh, I could so use some silence? I wish this person would stop speaking. It's just, I just don't want to spend the energy to attend. And usually a very talkative person is checking in. Did you hear that? That sort of idea. And oftentimes a talkative person might even be repeating the things that they've said before. And we wish for that silence in that time. And you know what? It brings about a silence, that we have an appreciation for silence in those times because we have become aware of talkative. Then toleration from the intolerant. And of course, we can see this anywhere in the world. And we can see that when someone is cruel or not kind to another person, or intolerant of, those people, is usually what people will say, are so not good. So I just don't accept that. And whatever it is, sometimes it's about how a person dresses. Sometimes it might be how a person speaks. Sometimes it might be a type of work that a person does. And there's an intolerance. And yet we might notice for ourselves that we're very tolerant for the same things. And that toleration, that also benefits from seeing intolerance or knowing about intolerance, that it actually can help us become more tolerant. Oftentimes we have the risk of moving into ego of, look how tolerant I am and how intolerant they are. Same with the talkative and silence of, look how I can be quiet and that person can't stop talking. And it's hopefully not a place to move into ego space here. So this idea of also kindness from the unkind. We see someone, anyone, treating anything unkind. It could be a plant, it could be a home, it could be a family member, it could be a stranger. Someone treats something or someone unkind. People who are pet lovers would be specifically sensitive to pets being treated unkindly, and certainly many of us are very aware of when people are being treated unkindly. And that can bring about our own kindness of, let me help the person who is not being helped by another person. And this is this way that our kindness can grow. Yet most of us will be able to easily fall into that ego space of, look how kind I am. I'm helping this person. That person was hurting this person. And it's truth, yet not useful. So if we start looking at some quotation like this and start seeing, let's look at the exact same things. Have I been talkative? I can be talkative. I certainly can. And I've loved when people have listened. And so I am so appreciative for the silence that listens to me. And when I have something heartfelt to share, sometimes even when I have absolutely nothing useful to share, just because I want to share. And it allows me to appreciate that silence. Now, if it's only silence, or it's just the person doesn't say anything, or they're turning away, or they're not paying attention, that silence is not an attentive silence, a listening silence. And yet we can listen too, right? So even those of us that are talkative can learn to listen from the listeners around us. Then in terms of intolerance, do we have any intolerance for things? Anything? Oh, I really hate when people let their weeds grow out of control and the front of their lawn looks so not good. Do I have an intolerance for that? Because you look how clean I keep my yard. Right? So I can. And we all have intolerances, whether we're conscious or not conscious, we do. And can I notice that when someone is tolerant because I've put something off for a little bit longer than I might have liked to be just right for even my mind or my satisfaction? But let me see, have I been intolerant about things? I have been. There might be a certain perspective, a certain opinion, a certain mannerism that I am intolerant of. And if I can just recognize that when I am intolerant, there is someone else that has tolerance in that space. And again, this could be for the talkative, because I have a lot of toleration for that. But it's again, we need to know ourselves, that are we looking into ourselves to see, am I tolerant? Or do I think that, well, if they were just a little bit different, I'd be much more tolerant? And so look into ourselves this way. And then finally, this kindness for the unkind. Have I been unkind? Oh, yeah, there's been times where I've been unkind. And can I say, well, I was justified because this happened and that made me feel very protective about this. And I might have been not kind when I spoke to this person because I was upset. There's reasons. Our minds will find justifications for ourselves. Can we find understanding for ourselves and then understanding for others too from that same space? Because that's truly kindness. So this idea of I am ungrateful to those teachers, when it comes from outside of me, I'm not grateful. Thanks a lot for being unkind. That sort of idea. Yet they are teachers. And if we can understand it that way, we understand that these teachers are all around us. No matter what someone is doing, something kind or unkind, it's a teaching for us if we are paying attention and open to receiving that learning and taking it in through understanding and then applying that understanding to our own actions. And then finally, I thought, after all of this of know thyself, I thought I'd also share something else. It's a beautiful poem that, again, Khalil Gibran has written. And I really loved it because even in all of the things that I've just talked about, don't we see that some people are, maybe us, are kind of talkative, kind of silent, kind of tolerant and kind of intolerant, and kind and kind of not kind. And all of this is all of us. And so I thought I would look at and focus on this poem, which talks about almost this idea of half living. So it doesn't have a title to it, or not one that I've come across, but this is the poem. And this is the poem I'd like to finish this video with. This says, do not love half lovers. Do not entertain half friends. Do not indulge in the works of the half talented. Do not live a half life and do not die a half death. Do not accept half a solution. Do not believe half truths. Do not dream half a dream. Do not fantasize about half hopes. Half a life is a life you didn't live. A word you have not said. A smile you postponed. A love you have not had. A friendship you did not know. You are a whole that exists to live a life, not half a life. Oh, I love this poem, and I hope that it inspires you to live a full life, because if you are intending to be the best of yourself, and I hope that we all are, I believe that we all have a good feeling about the positive halves of what I've been talking about. Yet, do we really put our whole effort into it? Do we really pay attention when a friend is speaking to us? Do we really pay attention to our own behaviors and fully engage in, wow, I am all of this? That is a full life. And today, that is what I hope that you'll spend 5 minutes after this video thinking about, reflecting on really, and seeing within yourself whether you are living a full life and whether you can start right here, right now. I wish you a fabulous day ahead, a full day of a full life. Have a beautiful day, and remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.